What is going on, Geeks and Gamers? We're here and we are live for G&G Daily. I saw some of y'all saying in the chat, Ryan's going to be 5 minutes late. I was maybe like 60 seconds late, maybe a full minute, if that. Other than that, we're ready to rock and roll. And we got a couple guys. We got some beards on stream today. All right, that's what we're doing today. We got
Bearded
Fear,
Crew.
the Bearded Crew. We got Fear the Beardo. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Everything's good. We had a pretty awesome Mario Kart stream last night, so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, man, excited to get into the topics today. So let's go.
What happened over on Rumble? I saw Jeremy send out a tweet, Chris Pavlovsky. So I know Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO, has been shooting over to a couple random Rumble streams and supporting them and stuff like that. What happened last night?
Yeah, so last night we were streaming on all of them. We were on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. On the Rumble side, Chris hopped in, started it off with donating $100, and then he said, "Hey, we're gonna put you on the front page for the next 15 minutes." And then he dropped $500.
Damn!
And he kept us on the front page for the rest of the night.
Wow! Hell yeah! Very cool.
And we got up to like 2,600 concurrent viewers on the Rumble side last night, so it was pretty incredible.
Hell yeah. Well, we are streaming on Rumble today. As always, I think Beardo's got us going over on Kick as well. So it's a three-way host and it's a three-way stream. So I guess that's appropriate. Speaking of three ways, Josiah Rises.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, no, it's been a little interesting. Yesterday was kind of a weird day on Twitter with a lot of Twitter fights about Epicverse and stuff, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm happy to be here and excited to get into topics today. So
there's not much to fight about because we haven't seen it yet. Everyone's still
well. Apparently, waiting. All these people, all these haters, know so much about Epicverse that they're telling me things I didn't even know about Epicverse. So it's pretty incredible, to be honest. So
it is pretty wild that the people that despise us, they are checking every video. They're subscribed with notifications turned on. They're, they got the Epicverse website bookmarked. Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward for them to actually give me their money and stuff when we drop. So it's going to be pretty good. So it'll be fun.
That's true. I see someone said 3 dudes is not a good 3-way. No, it's not. It is not.
No.
And listen, we got some stuff to talk about today. There's a degenerate freak that we mentioned a little bit yesterday who's writing for Bloomberg, who we've talked a lot about Sound of Freedom, and it's totally fair to have criticism of Sound of Freedom in terms of if you have a problem with the acting or the pacing or the writing, stuff like this, or if you have a problem with the actor or the people behind it, I disagree with you. You're certainly free to have your complaints. But if you have a problem with the idea of, showing child trafficking as something that is evil and disgusting, disturbing, there might be something wrong with you. You might have something to hide. And it looks like one writer for Bloomberg just went totally mask off because this person is a pedo activist who has a problem with Sound of Freedom. Shocking, I know. But we're going to get to that. We're going to get to Disney because I did see, ironically, for Bloomberg as well, criticizing Disney, saying that Bob Iger's basically turned Disney into a yard sale because that's how desperate they are to get some cash in hand. And of course, Marvel is part of Disney's disgusting disaster that they've had. Secret Invasion, we got some news on that budget, and it is more a ridiculous news for Disney. $212 million budget for Secret Invasion. Something that has the second lowest ratings of anything MCU on Disney Plus. Another embarrassment for them. But we'll get into all that. We got some super chats to hit first. I saw Abaru gifted 5 memberships right before the stream. Thank you, Abaru, or Abaru. I never know how to fucking say it. Taker for 2 says, not so white in the 7 members of your high school drama department. That's certainly what it looks like. Blake Barrett for 2. MAP stands for Millstone Attached Person. Not for these people, but thank you, Blake Barrett. Chef Nick Nero for 199. What the fuck? Jeremy slacking off again, shaking my fucking head. Yeah, he was out there. He was tweeting about Trump earlier this morning, so he is awake. He is alive. But yeah, he's got some stuff going on today, so we're holding it down. Thunderstrike for 5. Disney should just go all in. Live action Frozen with Dylan Mulvaney as Elsa.
Let's go at this point.
Yeah.
They could do that, but I think a more appropriate Disney casting would be Lizzo as Elsa.
Ooh.
That makes a lot more sense.
That'd be
Maybe
truly
if you found
stunning.
a trans black person, that'd be good. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Aberjam UK for 2. A lot of honey stained muff divers on screen today. Well,
What does that even mean?
I mean, I know what muff diver means. Honey stained.
I don't think I'm stained with any honey right now.
I don't know what
I just did laundry. My clothes shouldn't have any stains on them.
No.
I don't really use honey, but Gary's Wizard Beard for 2. 199. Please see green-haired anti-liberals review of Sound of Freedom. Well, I will have to check it out. I saw her in chat earlier, so I'll check that out. Gary's Wizard Beard.
Shout out.
Naaman's the ReTuber member for 3 months. Jeremy, I can't make the daily today. Josiah. D-Day Cobra has left Geeks and Gamers.
Gonna have to do a whole video on it. My video for today. Let's go.
Jay's Salty Taint for 199. If you call Sound of Freedom QAnon, you haven't seen it, or yeah, like listen, I think there's a lot of people out there that have been gaslit into believing something about Sound of Freedom, that have been lied to by the media. And I think there's other people, a small group of people who are writing some of these articles who truly are either lying or they're degenerates themselves. You know what I mean? That's kind of, to me, what's going on.
The dumb thing about it is that it's all based on what Jim Caviezel has said, and it has like nothing to do with the actual movie. And like, I mean, we could do the same thing if we wanted to. I mean, if we wanted to, we could criticize every movie based on things that the actors have said and stuff. We can do that with Mission Impossible if we wanted to. You know, we could be like, oh, Tom Cruise has, you know, he's a Scientologist, therefore the movie's a Scientologist movie. Don't go see it, and all this type of stuff. And it's like, well, no, I mean, you shouldn't base it on the actors and what their personal beliefs are, because then we probably wouldn't be watching any movie, to be honest. But
exactly. Everything out of Hollywood, right? Almost every production, you got probably 90% of the people that are working on it that have said things or believe things that I totally, completely disagree with. They've probably said things about Trump that are lies. They've probably pushed lies about Donald Trump, whether it's Russiagate, whether it's all this other stuff, right? Yep. And yeah, I disagree with that, and I think it's retarded. But if that doesn't come into the movie making, then most people, I'm not going to say everybody, but most people don't have a problem with it. It's about the product itself. If Sound of Freedom was a movie about Democratic senators, you know, trying to get these children here so they could fuck them or something, that would be an inherently political message in that movie. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
There's like nothing political about it. And they're trying, again, if you want to have criticisms about the people involved or their past, what Jim Caviezel said, you're free to. But to pretend like the movie is about that is nonsensical.
That's the problem when we live in this time where all these freaks are trying to politicize everything about movies and stories and all of that type of stuff. And now we're seeing that very, very clearly with the whole Sound of Freedom thing. So...
And also at first, like, you know, those first couple of weeks it was out, you heard stories here and there through the grapevine of, oh, there's no AC in the theaters. Oh, they're playing the radio on in the theaters. They said the tickets were sold out, but we got there. There's nobody in there. We had to fight to see the movie with the people who are running the movie theater. Now it seems like there's a lot more of those instances. I think David Harris and Graham Allen both posted a video compilation of tons of people's different experience going to try to see Sound of Freedom, like just the workers there, the ushers, like trying to clean the theaters and clean the seats while people are in there spraying fucking cleaner in their face, AC like radio blasting. Like there's way too many for this to be a coincidence. Now this does seem like an attack from certain movie theaters. What do you guys think?
Well, here's the thing. The idea that theaters don't want Sound of Freedom in there is just not true, because they added 400 theaters in their second week. You know what I mean? Like these theaters, it doesn't matter what's playing there. They want to make money. They agreed to have it in there. Are there probably some people, some activists in a certain movie theater here or there that might be trying to do something?
Right.
Yeah, probably. I don't think it's that widespread. I think people are really tuned into it right now. And I think it's really easy for some of these things to go viral. I can tell you that personally, in the last probably 5 years, I've had about 3 or 4 times that I've been to the theater that something is fucked up bad. Right? Whether it's the AC turning off, whether it's one time a movie in the middle of the movie, it just like it was a lens went wrong on the camera and it just went all blurry for the entire rest of the fucking movie. Or one time it was a sound issue. So things do happen. I think right now there's a lot of people that are really watching because people are out to attack this movie and to pull this movie down. So I think it's probably a combination of you got a couple activists here and there, and some things just happen.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said on Friday Night Tights about it. I was like, well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of these types of scenarios that can happen with films, and they probably happen more often than we think across the country. But because of this specific movie and people being hyper focused on, the kind of the whole, I guess, controversy around it and stuff, there's probably, whenever these types of things are happening because of this movie, they're actually posting it and stuff and being like, hey, this is what's going on right now. And so, I don't know if it's necessarily a theater attack or anything like that. Even the CEO of Angel Studios basically came out and was like, no, AMC has been great to work with and stuff. So it could be, I agree with Ryan. I think it could be more of like a individual activist type of thing that's going on than
a few bad apples ruining the experience for a few people. Yeah,
that's what I think. And also it has been really fucking hot. And who was it that tweeted out? What fucking retarded was it? Rashida Tlaib? I don't know who it was. Somebody tweeted it was just the hottest day on record in 120,000 years. It's like, man, I can't believe we had fucking people 120,000 years ago chiseling into stone about the temperature in Fahrenheit. But,
I was back there in the year 199, people.
Exactly. But it has been really fucking hot. But I think it's a little of both. I think there's some things that are happening because some activists are wanting it to happen. I think a lot of other things are just coincidences. But people are very keyed in towards all this stuff right now.
100%.
But the bottom line is theaters desperately want Sound of Freedom. Have you seen the per theater average for Sound of Freedom? That's why it picked up 400 theaters in its second weekend. Theaters want this to play. That's the reality. So,
yep.
But I mean, speaking of Sound of Freedom, we might as well talk about this. Boom, boom, boom. Sound of Freedom, with $85 million over the first 13 days of release, has stunned Hollywood. It's taken woke Hollywood by storm. And of course, the mainstream media has tried to do everything in their power to pull this down. It has become this culture war issue, effectively. I'm not sure why. It doesn't need to be. There shouldn't be anything inherently political about saying don't hurt children or protect children or child trafficking is bad. But that's what it's turned into. We saw attacks from basically leftist media trying to say that this is a big conspiracy, something like this. And we talked about it earlier. If you want to have criticisms about an actor or a producer or people involved with it or something like that, okay, I get it. I probably disagree with you, but I get it. The content itself, the movie itself, is not a conspiracy and it's not political. And we've been saying, if you're trying to label this as some sort of conspiracy movie, if you're trying to say that child trafficking is something that nobody should worry about, you might have something to hide. Well, in the case of this Bloomberg article, apparently that is the case, but this person's not doing too much to hide it. QAnon and Sound of Freedom both rely on tired Hollywood tropes. Sex trafficking movies routinely skip over some very important questions, which give the conspiratorial right room to run wild. Well, the issue with this article from Bloomberg, written by Noah Berlatsky, is the writer himself. Take a look at this. As you can see, this tweet by Bloomberg has gotten completely ratioed, almost 2,500 comments to 172 likes. Maybe there's a reason for that. The guy who wrote the article they are linking, Noah Berlatsky, child sex workers' biggest threat, the police. Parents are tyrants. Parent is an oppressive class like rich people or white people. Pedophiles are essentially a stigmatized group. Certain people get designated as deviants and people hate them. Maybe that's just a couple weird things. I don't know. Maybe that's just a couple weird things. Oh, wait. The person who wrote this Bloomberg opinion piece is leftist activist Noah Berlatsky. He was the spokesperson for MAP, Minor Attracted Person Advocacy Group, Protasia. He previously tweeted that pedophiles are a stigmatized group. He also called the sex offender registries racist. Look at this guy. This guy deserves to be on a list, if not all.
Just the way that it looks, yeah. Absolutely.
These are the people that are writing mainstream media articles trying to shit on Sound of Freedom. Literal pedo activists.
And this is what we've been saying basically for the past couple weeks with Sound of Freedom being out and stuff. It's like, well, a lot of these people are obviously people that have something to hide. These are people that are, you know, and obviously we know a lot about this guy, but it makes me wonder how many of these other activists that are out there that are writing these articles also have things that could be in their closets and stuff as well. But man, dude, like this literally proves everything that we've been saying for the past couple weeks. And of course, another thing, I mean, this is we're just in another situation where all of these, you know, people that are in the media, people on Twitter, all of these leftists and stuff are basically gaslighting us and saying that this is another conspiracy theory that we're working up and stuff. We literally have proof right here, people. It's right in front of our face that we have been right once again. So,
well, and ironically, this dude also said that most child trafficking victims are not coerced. Like this is again Protasia, a MAP, a pedo advocacy group. People are trying to normalize pedophilia. People even want to call it MAP, you know, to try to get away from the word pedo.
Right.
Child trafficking narratives are misleading. Like this guy is a fucking
what the fuck,
freak.
Man.
When people talk about child sex trafficking, they generally have an idea of kidnapping rings and violent coercion. But most underage people who trade sex don't have pimps. Adults in their lives have failed to provide them with food and shelter. Like, these people are disgusting.
Dude, that is
disturbing.
They're literally doing mental gymnastics to try to justify, oh, well, they have a troubled childhood. That's why they're doing these things. Like, every excuse in the book for them to be these disgusting, vile human pieces of shit.
Yeah, so it's I guess exactly like Josiah said, I guess we told you so. Now, I certainly don't think that everyone who has anything to say bad about Sound of Freedom is like this dude. But there are people out there that are driving the narrative, out there in the public eye that are like this. Look at this headline. This guy wrote this article himself. My wife is bisexual and non-binary, and my daughter is transgender. My queer family helped me better understand myself and my masculinity. Ugh. Man, isn't it weird that people end up transgender? Pretty high rate of things that happen to them as a child, isn't there? Very strange. This is the lengths that people are going to try to attack Sound of Freedom.
Yikes!
It's wow. I mean,
you can't make it up. You cannot make this up. Yeah. And we should mention, I feel like we've had a run-in with this guy before. Yeah. I don't know why. I am already pre-blocked by him. So I don't know. I don't know why this is. I don't know why he blocked me. His face looks familiar. Maybe it's just because it's like the look of every pedophile that you would imagine. So maybe that's why he looks familiar, but I don't know. He has me blocked for some reason.
Yeah, immediately as soon as Ryan like shared the link to that and I saw his face, I was like, yeah, I've seen this guy before, and I remember we've had some sort of run with him. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but immediately I was like, yeah, I've seen this guy before. So, but that's the problem with everything that's going on right now, is that this is exactly what the mainstream media is trying to push out there. They're trying to normalize what is happening, and exactly what this guy is doing as well. They're trying to normalize this, and it's not just like, you know, little activists here and there now. It's almost like this is like the mainstream message that they're trying to push out there, which is why so many of these articles, so many of these sites are trying to, you know, dissuade people from going to see Sound of Freedom, trying to push this narrative around the film that is totally nonsensical.
Well, and the reason why they're trying to normalize it is because they do, in fact, have skeletons in the closet. They have done some shady, sketchy shit in relation to this. So the more they try to normalize it, when the fact of the matter is when this information does get out, they're trying to lessen the blow that they're going to take by, you know, hopefully one day in a few years for them, they think that they're going to normalize it. So they're not going to be looked at as bad.
Yep. That's the utopia they're trying to push right now. That's what 100%. They're trying to make. So, yeah, and that's why it's so important to go see Sound of Freedom. That's why it's so important to support these types of movies and, you know, continue to raise awareness of what is actually happening. And that's the crazy thing, is that this movie is literally based on like a true story. Do these people not realize that this is like literally based on things that have happened? And we actually like have seen interviews with Ballard and everything else, and it's not like this is all just like one made up like fantasy type of film or anything. This is all based on things that have happened. Now, obviously, they've stretched some things in the film and stuff, but every movie that's based on true events does that. And it's so obvious that what they're doing right here is they don't want what the reality of what this film is pushing. They don't want the reality to be known by people out there. And that's why they're trying to play it off as like this huge conspiracy theory.
Well, they do a really good job of showing a lot of real life stuff within this movie. So
yes,
before the movie starts, well, basically right as the movie starts and they're running kind of the opening stuff, they show you a bunch of like security cam footage of things that have happened all over the world of children being taken, sometimes right in front of their parents, sometimes on a sidewalk somewhere. That was one of the most scary things.
Yes. Yeah.
To be honest, in the entire movie was, this real life stuff. And then after they go through the movie, after they do the thing, they show you near the end, like the end credits, they show you, hey, these are all things that happened. Here's some CCTV footage. Here's some security footage of this sting that we did, of all these arrests that were made and all the people involved.
Man, those people like going up the beach and stuff, like in the end, they actually showed footage of that. It's like, wow, like that made it real. You know what I mean?
Yep,
like seeing that, it was awesome. It was really cool. And, it's crazy that this is the world that we're living in and that these people are trying to basically, shun people from going to see this film because of that. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's certainly, again, this is Hollywood. You're doing things to make things a little bit more entertaining and to tell a story a little bit better. But the core itself, in terms of child trafficking, they're not saying that it's like, oh, everywhere, around every corner, every person is a trafficker. That's not what they're saying. They're just saying this is a big problem in the world, and it needs more attention brought to it. That's all.
And $150 billion business worldwide.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, anyway, we'll move off of that. Sound of Freedom continues to get attacked by degenerate freaks. Degenerate freaks.
No surprises there.
That's a light way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do a lot of talking about degeneracy over on Sports Wars, so I have to learn how to code things so I don't get hit. So I get hit by YouTube. But it is what it is. The Gilk Man, what's up, Thomas, for 25 months. Much love to you all. Keep being amazing. Get to see Reverend Sully today. Great channel and incredible human being. Subscribe to the good Reverend. Hey, check out Reverend Sully. Thanks, Thomas. Mr. The fuck is this name? Mr. Big Wig Majig AG Lig Vietnam Ham Jam Fig Stig, member for 2 months. Sound of Freedom has been packed out where I am. Also, Josiah, great to see you on FNT. And hail to the American Rasputin. Oh, and hi, Ryan. Hello, Mr. Big Wig Majig AG Lig Vietnam Ham Jam Fig Stig.
Am I the American Rasputin?
Yes.
You're the only other one on the stream, so I assume.
Well, all right.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
Heather Sulu, member for 2 months. Thank you, G&G, for being there when things could go better. Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Heather, but I hope, I hope things get better, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Man, we just got a bomb from Alec Baldwin's finger. 50 gifted memberships. 50 gifted memberships from Alec Baldwin's finger. For anyone in chat that was not already green, you got a chance. Make sure you enable the gifted memberships there. Make sure you enable the gifted memberships.
Awesome.
We appreciate that, Alec Baldwin's finger. Fucking badass.
Yep, thank you.
That's wild. That's $250 worth of memberships right there.
That's awesome, man.
It's no joke.
That's awesome.
Thomas Smith for 5. You didn't get the map chat. Jesus... Hold on. You didn't get the map chat. Jesus said before bringing harm to a child, you should tie your neck to a millstone and cast into the sea. Oh, okay. I understand what you mean. I didn't get the millstone part, but yes, I have. Yeah. I know the quote you're talking about.
Yep.
Chef Nick Nero for 5. I forgot to mention that Drunk 3PO's book was delivered. Reading it after the stream. Also, Josiah, the trailer is fire, and Beardo makes a good Viking.
Yeah, 100%.
the tiniest of a tease on FNT for the new Epicverse project. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Shout out to Beardo and Jake. They both absolutely crushed in that film, and I can't wait for you guys to see their performances. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really cool. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the teaser a lot too. It seems like I've heard a lot of people over the past few days talking about how much they like the teaser. So that makes me really happy to hear that. So can't wait for you guys to see the compliments. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Chef Nick Nero. Oh, I just said that one. And by the way, yes, Drunk 3Bill's book. I see it getting delivered to people all out there. I see people posting pics with it. So shout out to Jay. I know that was a stressful process, I'm sure, but now it is finally out. So that's great.
Good job, Jay. Awesome.
Speaking of Jay's salty taint for 199. Thanks for the entertainment during work. Hail the 199. Hey, I'm glad you're working, Jay's salty taint. Andrew CR for 1,000 check. Wood chipper go brrr. Yes. Bass. No, is this bass or bass? Bass bunny love for 5. God's children are not for sale. One of the best lines to come out of this. Absolutely. God's children are not for sale. Schrodinger's chat for 5. You know who hates movies exposing pedos and trafficking pedos and traffickers? Certainly seems to be a theme.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Certainly seems to be a theme. Mar 15 for $5. Jeremy, he's not fucking here. What's your opinion on PCC? I saw a Reddit post yesterday about a dad wanting to send his daughter there because of the rules.
Yeah, Jeremy, what's your opinion on that?
I got no idea what PCC is.
He's not here.
Pasadena Community College. I have no idea. Does anyone know what PCC is?
No
or what
clue.
Jeremy's thoughts on it are?
No clue.
Nope. I have no idea.
PCC. I don't know. Maybe the thought will come to us. But thank you. Jay's salty taint for 2. He looks like the pedo in the movie. He kind of does.
I was thinking the same thing.
He kind of does. Oh, Pop Culture Crisis. Pop Culture Crisis. That can't be true. I saw a Reddit post about a dad wanting to send his daughter there because of the rules. That can't be Pop Culture Crisis. Portland Community College, Pasadena Community College, Pecker Cuck Connoisseur, Pensacola Christian College. This might be it. Pensacola Christian College. I don't know.
Maybe.
Ooh, okay. That could be it.
Jeremy probably doesn't know. I'll just put that out there.
School and Jeremy?
Yeah, exactly. Those things do not go together typically. Taker for 5. In Portland, they were chanting the names of the convicted pedo killed by Rittenhouse. I'm sure Noah was there in his element. Yes. What is his name? Rosenberg or something?
Oh, yeah.
And they were using like a weird childish name to go along with it. Anyway, yeah, piece of shit. What's your first thought? Canadian 199 with the thumbs up. Thank you. Scott McKenzie for 5. 1,000 folks die at open border besides U.S. government supporting drug and human trafficking. The 85,000 unaccompanied kids transported by the U.S. government to there. That's wild, Scott. Joshua Mann for 199. They're trying to arrest Trump for a 3rd time. Yeah, I saw that. It looks like he's going to be indicted again. So I'm sure that'll only help him in the polls, to be honest with you. But we'll see what happens. Shout out to the 4,000 people. 400. 4,000 be wild. 400 people watching us over on Rumble. We appreciate it. Guys, we got to talk about Disney.
Let's do it.
All right, how did they fuck up this time? Let's go.
Well, this is basically a story of all of these fuck-ups.
Amazing.
It just continues to get worse for Disney, despite the fact that Disney made a big deal out of taking all of these things off the Disney Plus streaming service to try to save money, to try to take some write-downs, things like that. It doesn't look like they're going to turn a profit on Disney Plus anytime soon. In fact, the most recent reports say that Disney's expected to lose $800 million on Disney Plus over the most recent quarter. That is an increase in losses from the previous quarter. You're looking at basically $1 billion every quarter. That's what it seems like Disney continues to lose every 3 months. This is a total failure. And it's gotten to the point where Bob Iger is almost throwing up a help me sign and saying, hey, we need to do something. During his big interview with CNBC, where he put his foot in his mouth a lot, he also made a big reveal that Disney's looking at selling off a bunch of their TV assets. Disney could soon sell its TV assets, as Iger says business may not be core to the company. And people are just calling it what it is. Bob Iger shifts from building an empire to a Disney yard sale. Because that's what this is. This article goes over, how Netflix is having like record growth because of what they're doing there, while Disney Plus is continuing to sink. But here it is. Bob Iger shifts from building an empire to a Disney yard sale. Bob Iger built Disney into the world's most powerful entertainment company by acquiring Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. Now he's looking to downsize. Iger put roughly a third of the company up for sale this week, declaring Disney's linear TV assets non-core. That includes TV networks ABC, FX, and Freeform. He also said Disney's looking for a partner for ESPN, basically trying to get an investor to come in and do 50-50 with them because they can't sustain it either. And the company is already looking to sell or restructure its TV and streaming business in India. It's a stunning, if inevitable turn of events for an exec who spent so much of his career working in TV for a company that relied on cable networks for the majority of its profit. Yet the decelerated decline of cable TV's limited Bob Iger's options. He thought he'd solved the problem with Disney Plus and Hulu, but his streaming business is expected to register a loss of $800 million in the just ended third quarter. This is a nightmare scenario for Disney. We've heard rumors about them wanting to potentially sell to Apple. There's been whispers about that for years at this point. But now he's officially announced it, that they're looking to sell some of their biggest TV channels, their failing TV channels, to people for an influx of cash. They need it because they're desperately in debt right now. And you even have, again, mainstream outlets describing the status of Disney as a yard sale. That's what Bob Iger's trying to do desperately right now. It doesn't look like they're willing to sell off any IPs or anything like that necessarily, but more streaming failures and the desperate desire to wave a flag and say, hey guys, we need help right now. Please come and buy these things from us. It's pathetic.
Mm-hmm. And I love how Bob Iger is still like trying to play it off cool and like this is all fine. This is all just part of the business, guys. It's no big deal. It's like, yeah, okay. We all see what's going on here. We all see that you are absolutely tanking right now and you need all the help that you can get. So, you can try to play it off cool if you want to, Bob Iger, but we see what's going on here.
And what's crazy is they wouldn't have to sell off any of these, TV deals and take an influx of cash or a payday if they actually told good stories, if they didn't hire woke activists, if they didn't pander to these leftist weirdos, if they didn't disrespect legacy characters that have spanned over generations of fans. It's crazy. If they actually put out a good product, they wouldn't be in this position. Mm-hmm. But by his comments, he's saying, no, we're kind of stick to our guns. We're going to kind of go down the same path. We're going to sell off a few of our assets, take in a little bit of cash, but keep doing the same thing that we're doing. It's insanity.
I mean, it was only like maybe like five or 6 years ago when Disney was putting out like, all these different live action films that were based on their animated films and all that type of stuff. Pretty much everything that they were putting out was almost like hitting $1 billion, making them a profit and all that type of stuff. And look how fast Disney has completely declined over the past couple of years. And that is because they have continued to pursue all of this woke nonsense and they continue to put out absolute shit these days.
Yep.
So,
yeah, 2019, I think 7 Disney movies hit $1 billion at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 did overall. One of them was Joker. 7 of them were Disney movies. And the other one, I believe, was an MCU movie, which was Spider-Man Far From Home, which was technically a Sony movie. But still, obviously, Disney's involved in that. So to go from that to this is wild, but it is all about the introduction of identity politics, the fact that you have activists at the company that have destroyed it from the inside. And as a company, there is now more of a priority on virtue signaling and pushing an agenda than there is on entertaining people. We saw that with them deciding to get very political over the state stuff with the state of Florida. And as much as Bob Iger tells lies in all of these interviews where he says, we don't want to get involved with the culture war. Well, that's not what we're about. We really want to calm things down. what they're actually doing, the actions they're actually taking, are only stepping up the war with the state of Florida. And it's not going well for them. It's continuing to go poorly. It's part of the reason why families no longer trust Disney, because they've seen them. They've seen the leaked Zoom calls. They've seen how hard they fought for the rights of teachers to sexualize kindergartners. So when those things happen, families say, I'm no longer going to trust this brand. That's why, whether it's the box office, the theme parks, or streaming, they're losing everywhere right now, because the core part of their business, family-friendly entertainment, is no longer considered family-friendly.
And I think that Disney is a perfect example of just seeing in firsthand, kind of in the first time in forever, that we've seen that there's a huge silent majority of families out there that are seeing what Disney's doing, and they're saying, no, we're not going to go support it. And we're seeing that playing out in the box office right now with every film that they have been putting out for the past 6 months, year. And it's pretty awesome to see that we're finally getting to this point where parents are waking up and being like, no, we're not going to take our kids to go expose them to all of this nonsense that Disney's putting in theaters. It's really awesome. So
yeah, it's wild. It is a massive fall for this company. I think their stock price is still hovering probably around 85, 86, somewhere around there. Has not changed since Bob Iger took over. In fact, it's probably only dropped a little bit. Whereas we saw another company like Netflix. Again, that's why that article was interesting, because they compared Netflix and what's going on with their streaming to what's going on with Disney. And Netflix, even though it had a little bit of a rough patch when a lot of these other streaming services were, ballooning up, they had one of their best quarters in a long time, and their stock price has rebounded in a big way after the lows they had at the end of last year. So,
yeah.
But let's get back to some of these chats. We got almost 2,400 people watching. Appreciate you guys. If I can find my here it is. I was losing my place with my tabs. All right. And big shout out to Steph and Jed, who are always working on this too. Jed's keeping track of super chats. Steph's taking notes and editing these stuff to clip over on Geeks and Gamers Daily, which may be soon renamed to something else. Jay's salty taint for 199. Biden's G&G is greed and groomers. Maybe Jay's salty taint. I see Carolyn in the chat. What's up, Carolyn?
Shout out.
Good to see you. We got a. Are you still the newest employee of the Rippaverse? Are you still low on the totem pole at the Rippaverse, or have they hired anybody else new yet? Either way, she's doing awesome stuff over there. And Rippa's killing it. They're at what, $1.9 million? Should we check out the Rippaverse campaign, actually?
Let's do it.
Yeah, man, it's really, really sad to see how much Rippa's failing right now with the second campaign over there. It's really tragic, to be honest. Yeah. Hopefully you can recover and make a rebound with the next one. So
he is failing. You know why? Because I can't buy my short boxes yet. That's why. So fucking get those up. I really want to be able to fucking buy that. I want some short boxes, and I don't see them yet, because I'm gonna put another bunch of money into this fucking campaign. But anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Stonks are rising. Yeah, they are. Look at this. $1.9 million. Over 1,600 total purchasers. So we still got a month and a half almost left in the campaign. So that's a lot of books sold, man. What is this combined? You got about 5,000 there. You got you got 27,000 copies sold so far between all these different covers. So that's wild.
Insane.
Big shout out to Eric July and the Rippaverse.
Shout out.
Awesome.
Shout out.
Where am I? All right. So we also have something else to talk about when it comes to Disney. One of the reasons that Disney Plus is failing so hard is because all the fucking money that they are spending. We have seen the budgets for all these Disney Plus series, whether it's Andor at $250 million, things like this. It's been insane. That's obviously a Lucasfilm project, but Marvel projects have been expensive as hell on Disney Plus too. And apparently one of those things is Secret Invasion. Now, Marvel's Secret Invasion, you may know or you may not, because quite honestly, nobody is talking about this, despite the fact that Samuel L. Jackson is back as Nick Fury starring in Secret Invasion. It has been one of the lowest rated things they've ever done. The second lowest in terms of people actually watching that they've had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just barely drawing in more viewers than Miss Marvel, which was an absolute failure for them. But I don't think Miss Marvel cost the same as this show did. Why Marvel's Secret Invasion show is a big disappointment. The biggest reason it's a disappointment is probably the budget. It'd be one thing if it was just failing, but it just got revealed that the budget is $212 million. It makes no sense. Marvel's Secret Invasion has a $212 million budget. This is outlandish that you're spending $212 million. I think it's a 6-episode series. It might be 8, I guess, but you're spending $212 million. This is a massive, big budget blockbuster type movie. That's how much like $212 million would get for you. That's more than they spent on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which also lost money. But if you're doing these things, this is one of the big reasons why Disney Plus is losing $1 billion every quarter. Stuff like this is not sustainable when no one is watching.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an astronomically insane budget for this thing. I mean, it's weird because, you know, if this came out like a few years ago, back when Marvel was still kind of, you know, hype and stuff, this would have done extremely well on the platform. I think that a lot of people would have been very excited to see what they were doing with this. You know, having Samuel L. Jackson back as Nick Fury, all of that type of stuff. That was always like a huge draw for people. But the fact that you have literally Nick Fury basically kind of starring in this show and no one is watching it, it tells you everything about where Disney's at right now with all of the crap that they're putting out.
And they also kind of butchered the whole Secret Invasion stuff with Captain Marvel, with the Skrulls and secret in that movie, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna do Secret Invasion. It's like, how are you gonna do that? You kind of already butchered it in Captain Marvel. And also, I mean, besides the product not being good, that goes without saying. We know that this is shit. It's hollow, but we kind of saw this a few years ago when they announced that they were going to put a whole bunch of like spin-off Marvel shows, and that if you want to stay up to date with all of these MCU movies going out into theaters, you know, a lot of them you have to pay attention to the MCU. So they were running their audience thin. They were putting the audience and the ability to catch up and keep up to date with the storylines behind a paywall. You had to buy Disney Plus. You had to watch these shows if you want to understand the next movie. And that is a turnoff to a lot of people. You're just going to spread your audience thin at that point. So that's why you see the shows failing. That's why you see the movies failing. Not only because they're not good, but because you told people, hey, listen, you're not going to be caught up if you don't pay and watch our shows.
Yeah, if you don't watch our shit shows.
Yeah.
They're going to make you feel miserable while you're watching them. Yeah. Yep.
And She-Hulk as well. She-Hulk reportedly cost $225 million. Now, that had more episodes, I think, than Secret Invasion. And look at what the quality we got. Some of the most atrocious CGI we've ever seen in living memory that looked like it was a Grand Theft Auto game on PlayStation 2. Like, that's what we're getting for $225 million. And they're getting roasted by everyone right now because everyone can see that this type of shit is not sustainable, that it doesn't make any sense, that some of these big commitments were made at a time where they thought that streaming was going to be the next big thing for them. And they're quickly realizing that there is not the money that they thought there was going to be. Almost like so many of these streaming services are losing money right now, especially Disney. And they're the ones that maybe went harder in it than anyone else. And if you're putting out dog shit like this for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is the reason why audiences are walking away. You have more trash that just shoveled into your mouth every fucking week with these weekly release strategies. And people are out. People just aren't invested in the MCU anymore because it's been so bad. They're telling you bad stories, and it's about characters that you're not interested in. And that is a recipe for disaster. And at this point, it's becoming apathy for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's about the worst place it could possibly be.
Yep. We saw what happened with Star Wars with that. So
million.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars has basically become a streaming brand at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, when are we going to see another? I mean, the Rey movie, if that ever happens, wouldn't be for several years. And it's Star Wars has become a streaming brand.
Yeah,
That's pathetic.
The fact that you have the fucking Star Wars brand and you haven't put out a movie in years is absolutely insane. But it shows you that people are just completely checked out with Lucasfilm under Disney.
Yeah, it's especially with Dial of Destiny.
The thing is, people are willing to wait years for a good Star Wars movie. Like, George Lucas, between the original trilogy and the prequels, like, there was a long fucking time, and people were willing to wait. But now with the sequels, when you're willing to wait and then you go and finally see the movie and it's shit, it's like, what were we waiting for?
Well, it's become a real different, like, entertainment is so different now, where, the original trilogy came out, people weren't expecting anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and then you get it come out in 1999, and people thought they were done after that. In this era, it's like, well, we need to start this right now so we can capitalize on this. I don't know if they think because, and to be honest, consumers have changed. Like, our society has changed in terms of people's patience and their attention spans and things like that. It's just a reality. So some of that is because of the way entertainment, and some of that, I think entertainment has been trying to adapt to that. I think it's a little bit of a mix. But now there's this desire that we have to strike while the iron is hot, probably because they have no faith in actually making these things. They only have faith in like the hype that's there and capitalizing on that instead of just focusing on making something that's actually good quality.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, with everything that we saw with The Force Awakens and how well that movie did in the theaters, that shows that people were willing to wait. People were willing to, people were excited about Star Wars coming back. And, the toy lines and everything else when it came to Force Awakens, people were excited, man. People were excited to have Star Wars back in the cinema. And then we just saw the consistent decline with every movie that Star Wars put out, and how there was less and less people that were tuning in with how bad Star Wars was with Disney and stuff. So, we saw it play out firsthand in real time, seeing just the numbers with all the different Star Wars films and how there was less and less people that were actually going back to the theater to check out these films that they were putting out.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's take a look at, let's check up with the chat. Again, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Omega Soul for $5. I expect the wokeness to get crazier the more the majority push back. Yeah. I think we've talked about kind of the pendulum, and people like, is the pendulum swinging back, all this shit. I don't think the pendulum is swinging back. I think we've gone so far. The pendulum has arrested its momentum, and it has all this fucking potential energy. And when it swings, it's going to swing really hard. And so right now you have these forces that are desperately trying to keep this status quo, that are making things more woke and pushing. And it here in the next, I don't know, year, 2 years, 5 years, you're going to see a catastrophic swing back against all of this nonsense. That's how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's just a guess. Mr. Peter, 199 with a thumbs up super sticker. Thank you, Mr. Peter. Baby Chewbacca for 199. November.
Oh yeah.
November India Golf Alpha, please. Thank you, Baby Chewbacca. Appreciate it. Well for $2 says hail. Well. Make sure. I think we're still good. We got 575 people watching us over on Rumble. Awesome. We appreciate it, and we're not even on the front page or anything. We just have a pretty dedicated Rumble audience now.
Mm-hmm.
So getting 500-600 people over there when we're not on the front page. Holy shit! I saw lightning. I was like, that looked close, and like I barely even opened the thing, and I just like heard the thunder. So it was pretty fucking close.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But I don't know what I was talking about.
It was a shelf.
Rumble
or something.
Rumble.
No. Yes, Rumble. The Rumble audience. We got a dedicated Rumble audience to get 500 or 600 people over here without even being put on the front page or anything. So big shout out to the people who are continuing to watch us and support us over there. Who is this? I don't know who this is. The membership got revoked or the message got retracted. But whoever that was is a member for a month. Thank you. True vintage R&B fan for 5. That video rant Eric July published yesterday called Unions, Actors, and Studios, our rant was lit. Everybody in the creative arts needs to see that. I haven't been able to watch it yet, so I will definitely check that out. I'll definitely check it out. True vintage R&B fan. A bear for 5. I get excited when Disney announced a new release because it means great YouTube videos coming. Snow White will be great fun from that viewpoint. Yeah, like the Snow White stuff is wild. I put a video out about the stuff we covered yesterday on Rachel Zegler's tweet, which ironically destroys her entire fucking argument. Like, I'm so sick of this shit. I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me pull up my...
Was it the tweet where she posted the pictures of her dressed as Snow White as a child? Yeah,
and it's so stupid. So obviously, just the Snow White pictures themselves and how bad they were brought up the entire conversation again. Rachel Zegler was getting tagged and everything. She's like, extremely appreciative of the love I feel from those defending me online, but please don't tag me in the nonsensical discourse about my casting. I really, truly don't want to see it. So I leave you with these photos. I hope every child knows they can be a princess no matter what. And the whole argument for the race swaps to begin with are, well, children need to be able to see themselves in these characters. They need to see a Snow White that looks like them. They need to see a Little Mermaid that looks like them. Little black girls everywhere need to see that they can be a mermaid too. She posted a picture of herself as Snow White when she was a little kid. She was dressing up as Snow White as a little kid. She was dressing up as a princess. She was a little kid. She was dressing up as Belle when she was a little kid.
And you know what? No one gave a fuck. Like,
what? Like, she could see herself. She identified with the characters, even though she doesn't look like them.
Right.
Right. Exactly. The entire point of the race swaps. You fucking retard. You fucking retarded Rachel Zegler. What the fuck?
And not only that,
it completely blows up her argument.
Holy shit. We've seen pronouns in bios. She's gone so far. She's taken it to another level, putting her pronouns in her fucking Twitter name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Doesn't Pedro Pascal do that too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But and then she says like every child instead of like every girl and stuff too. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We see what you're doing here.
All the talking points, all the correct talking points.
God, I didn't even notice that. I hope every child knows they can be a princess. Holy fuck. But yeah, this is like, it's so dumb. And it completely destroys her entire argument to post things like that. Just like what happened when Halle Bailey put out a tweet being like, you are a princess, girl. Go get him, girl. Fuck you. But like, she has this whole rant too, where she's in an interview and she's like, you know, I used to love the animated Little Mermaid, and I would be in my pool pretending that I was her, that I was a mermaid. So you mean that you could identify with the character that had white skin and red hair? You were imagining yourself as her. It didn't matter to you. Yet you're saying we need a black Ariel so that black children can identify with that. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's like, pick a fucking narrative and stick with it. You know what I mean? Like, right. Which is it? Which narrative is it? And is it like, these people are so inconsistent with their narratives. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
They're not sending their best.
No.
Krylo Ren for 5. All Disney needs to do to save their company is bring me back. Everybody loved me, right, guys? I mean, Kylo Ren is probably the best of the worst. Like,
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Like, I think his character's stupid as shit. It was a ripoff of it was a ripoff of Jason Solo trying to be combined with Revan, which had the name of Ben Skywalker, like bastardized his name. Just a mix up of expanded universe characters done in the worst possible way. Could have been potential to be something good, but it was a dog shit character at the end of the day. Sophie for 6 says, Jackie Chan was my hero as a kid. I'm neither Asian nor a man. It was never a problem. Yeah. Weird how that works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Weird how that works. But all right, guys, we are closing it up here. We're coming up at the top of the hour. Saw someone said when Ryan runs the streams, they end on time. They do. I don't get too caught up in other stuff. But Jeremy will be back tomorrow, I believe. So I don't know exactly who it'll be. Jeremy will be back tomorrow. I probably will not be. Yes, Jeremy and Beardo will probably be there tomorrow. Beardo, what do you got going on?
Nothing much. I'm actually gonna go jump over to Lethal Lightning's podcast right now, Gronking on Dogs over on Hyper Lethal YouTube channel. So I'm gonna be there as soon as this stream ends. I'm hopping over there. So that's what I'm doing. And Tuesday night's main event tonight. So check that out.
That's right. That's right. Josiah, what's going on? When can people expect any more updates on Epicverse?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll probably have a couple things for Epicverse coming out in the next month or so. Yeah, we're just gonna slowly start to give you guys some more in-depth updates as we start to get closer to the release of Epicverse and stuff. You know, it's one of those things where we're trying to balance letting you guys know what we have going on, but also not revealing too much to you guys. So it's like it's definitely kind of a fine line to walk. But as we continue to draw closer to the release of season 1 for Epicverse, we'll definitely have some more stuff for you soon. And then obviously I'm also streaming over on Kick as well, so make sure that you go check me out over there. Been playing some pretty awesome games over there, so it's great to have you guys over there. And the chat has been amazing, so I appreciate everyone for tuning in over there too. So.
Hell yeah. Big shout out to everybody supporting today. A Tomac for $20. At this point, I'm starting to miss the days where I thought Power Rangers had good plot lines.
Hey, Power Rangers is awesome.
I watched a lot of like the original Power Rangers growing up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of Mighty Morphin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin was my jam. I did not, I can't say I kept very great track of it after that. It got really convoluted and shit. And a lot of different iterations, but the original, I love the original. All right, guys, that is it for us. Shout out to the 199 in the chat and all the people supporting us over on Rumble as well. You guys are awesome. If I could find the fucking, here it is. Here's StreamYards. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.